Women's Aid South Lanarkshire are the only domestic abuse service throughout the whole of South Lanarkshire who support children and young people. South Lanarkshire in itself is the 5th highest record of domestic abuse in Scotland. The high numbers have encouraged us to adopt a creative response to tackling issues in and around domestic abuse for children and young people. The Play project with Inspiring Scotland is a great example of our creative work, and we'll roll out this to fellow Women's Aid organisations throughout the whole of Scotland.
We were approached by Women's Aid to work in partnership to facilitate a pilot project giving vulnerable children an opportunity to play more freely. It turned out to be an excellent project which involved 16 of our pupils who all gained from involvement for many different reasons. The project also gave the opportunity for class teachers within the school and also support assistants to work in partnership with Women's Aid as well, building a team who can now continue the good work that has already been done.
I was one of the teachers that was allowed to go on the peak training, which is possibilities for East End kids. And through that, I kind of gained a better understanding of the importance and the benefits of play and how they can and should be part of the children's education. And coming back to school with that knowledge was quite interesting because you're even looking at your day-to-day activities and trying to figure out how you can put kids in situations where they're with other children socially and problem solving and playing freely, but with an educational purpose as well.
Domestic abuse affects all aspects of children and young persons' lives. It causes significant harm to their physical and their emotional health. It affects all levels of concentration, their ability to form healthy relationships, their emotional resilience. It causes isolation and can effectively leave them struggling to learn within their educational setting.
I think what we found was that we can't stress enough the importance of play in a child's life. And I think the investment that we got from Go to Play, Inspiring Scotland, has helped us get children and young people in this school and the wider community back out to play. The children really embraced this opportunity that we gave them to play, and it was great to work in partnership with the local school. The children and young people used the resources that we provided, and they also used some of the natural resources that we had outside, yes. And they found for themselves loads of different kind of ways, imaginative, inventive ways, creative ways to use these resources. They needed very little intervention from ourselves. They just needed us to be facilitators. They invited us to participate in some of their games and their activities that they had. And we saw within a relatively short period of time a lot of benefits that these children and young people actually managed to achieve for themselves. There was an increase in confidence with a lot of them. They were making good connections, good friendships. They were coming up with problem-solving abilities, which sometimes were kind of out with what you would imagine a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old would be able to do. They were really, really good at doing that.
I think sometimes beyond what our expectations of the project were, because it was only on for such a short time. It was a good piece of work, and it was great fun, wasn't it?
It was really good.
The children that accessed the pilot, it was very interesting because I think we both saw a huge improvement in lots of aspects, particularly things like raised self-esteem, improved social skills, confidence. Children who before had struggled with relationships and friendships were all of a sudden building these bonds with other children, and they were lasting. We had a particular individual who, before the project, had very low self-esteem, and after the project, the benefits have just been through the roof for this girl. She went on a residential outing with the school, which she would never have done before. She's now one of the class as opposed to outside the class, and she's bringing ideas to the table. She's more confident in her day-to-day work as well as her play with the children. And recently she actually played a trick on a few members of staff involving a trick suite, which just shows the steps that she's made with her self-esteem, because before she would never have entertained that sort of activity with the adults in the school, so it's been hugely beneficial.
We also had a younger pupil as well who had eating difficulties, was a very fussy eater who at lunchtime proved very difficult, and through the project he saw the social skills involved in sitting down together and having a lunch together, and by the end of it was eating just about everything in sight. But even his parents commented on the fact that he was putting the skills he'd learned through the project in place at home and was eating more at home as well. So through all the different ways the children, all 16 of them, have benefited greatly, and we now as a school need to look at a way how we continue that for the benefit of all the children in the area.
Because we've had lots of children trying to join the group
Oh yes.
who weren't originally at the group but now want to join because they're seeing the other children. And we're hoping with the development of outdoor play at the side of our school that that's something we can really embed in our day-to-day school life.